Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Insider Gaming Developer Spotlight. Senior Editor Mike Straw here, and I'm joined for a special sit-down with the legendary, the voice of many of, if you're watching childhood, Tim Kitzrow, and the founder of Digital Dreams Entertainment, Michael Mendheim, the studio behind Mutant Football League 2. It finally dropped after a few years in development, 7 years after the rebirth of the Mutant Football League. Fellas, thank you so much for taking the time and joining me here.
Absolutely.
It's going to be your voicemail for the next 6 years.
again, the chills and everything like that. It's very hard in this industry for me to like really feel starstruck. Mm-hmm. This is one of those occasions because growing up, as a quick aside before we dive in, growing up when I would do this, I would play, even if it wasn't NBA Jam or for me, NFL Blitz and NHL Hits were two of my biggest games as a kid. When I wasn't playing those games, I would still quote you playing something simple as like ESPN NFL. I'd make a big hit and I would yell it. Like it just was intentional of me just going, boom shakalaka. Like,
hey, that's pretty good.
As good as I can since I was a kid. I think my parents got tired of it.
Well, think of it here, Michael, like from, welcome to NBA Jam, like try to get my 35-year-old, years ago voice to then welcome to NFL Blitz 99. Oh, we just took that guy's head off to now welcome to Mutant Football League On Fire edition. It is on fire because there's all kinds of explosions and everything else. But the idea that all these years later, I go from Blitz to this great arcade game that was actually happening back in 93 that I didn't know about because I'm not a gamer, that I'm back in the seat calling the crazy over-the-top stuff that Blitz was known for, except guess what? There's no rules in this one because the NFL and nobody looks over our shoulders. Michael's got nobody else telling him what to do or tell him. Well, he tries to tell me what to do sometimes, but we enjoy that. But it's just crazy that all these years later, we're talking about a huge arcade-style, big bash brawling game like Mutant Football League, and it's great that we're seeing arcade-style games come back more. We were just talking about barcades and arcades becoming more prevalent, and some great people keeping that thing alive in our culture. So to have this game come out in 2025 is a dream come true for Michael and certainly for myself.
And Michael, that actually leads to the first question about Mutant Football League 2. This is the second one. The first one you kickstarted, you brought back in 2017. It's been 8 years. Why have you decided that it needed a sequel, and like what led to that decision of there's more to untap here?
Well, I mean, between that 8-year span, the company did some other products, but what we wanted to do was get Mutant Football League on the next gen systems, right? With upgraded graphics and production values. And there were certain features that we wanted to add that we weren't able to do for the first game, such as like, what I think is one of the coolest features in the game is that you can actually create your own Mutant League team, right? So you can name it, you can decide what kind of team identity you want, whether it's like aggressive passing or ball control offense versus an attacking defense or conservative defense. You get to adjust to all of those. In addition to, you also get to name your own stadium. You can go into our design editor and place whatever hazards you want on your arena floor, and then you can take that and go online and play against other people with your unique Mutant Football League team. That was definitely something we wanted to deliver to our community, and we did. So couldn't be happier. We got that out. I can safely say we're not going to be doing a Mutant Football League 3. If we were to do any other Mutant League product, and that's still undecided, I mean, that'll be based on how well this one does.
Yeah.
But it would be hockey. I mean, that hockey's what the entire community wants. They've been screaming for it. So if we were to do another product, it would be a Mutant League hockey game.
That was a game that when I was a kid played on Sega. I don't know if my parents would have wanted me to play it, but I did. I just told them it was a hockey game with monsters, and my mother fell for it. I mean, same with Mutant League Football as a kid. My parents fell for it because it's just like, oh, there's just little monsters. They didn't know.
This is so cool though. The idea that you can create your own stadium, your team identity, uniforms, the swag. I mean, in what world when you're a kid to have the fantasy of like, wow, what if I could have my own like cartoon that's basically because you are in this cartoon Adult Swim world, but with my name, like whatever it is. I think we did a preview, Michael, for the trailer. Grim Blitzrow, my alter ego, has his own team. We have the Doom Shakalaka or something like the stadium, the Doom. I mean, it's just crazy. And the outfits, I mean, to have people in the community share their teams and play each other and their own identity. It's an amazing tool to bring new fans in.
It gives very Monstars feel from Space Jam, where they stole the talents of the NBA players. This is your mutants. You're stealing the talents of the NFL players, and that's why they exist and the names they exist. And with the teams, when Mutant Football League launched, there was only a handful of teams. Now you have parody teams of every NFL team and then some. How important was it to make sure the game launched? Granted, you had released new teams in updates to that first game, but making sure you had as many options as possible for the people who maybe just want to jump in.
So I'm just going to take a step back, and then I'll go ahead and answer that just for people that are listening that may not know what the game is, right? So Mutant Football League is an action game. I call it an action game. It's a sports game. It's a sports arcade style game in the tradition of like NFL Blitz. It's not a simulation. So if you can imagine NFL Blitz with a variety of kind of creatures and mutants as the stars of the league, we parody the players' names. So for instance, Tom Brady in our game becomes Bomb Shady. And the Chicago Bears becomes the Midway Mutants, or the Kansas City Chiefs becomes the Carcass City Creeps. So we parody everything, and think of the game as like an NFL Blitz with chainsaws. You can win two ways. You can win traditionally through high score, which is, traditional football. But you can also win by decimating your opponents, because in Mutant Football League, you can kill players on the opposing team. And there's also hazards on the field that can kill your players. You have your all-star players and even legendary players who are the power of your team. They're the highest rated. They're the best. They have the best skills and abilities. So you want to protect those guys. And then you have the rest of your team. So the opposing team you're playing against is trying to kill your best guys, trying to wipe out all your quarterbacks. And if they manage to do that, then they win the game in a forfeit. And it doesn't matter what the score is. It could be 73-0. If I can take out all of Tim Kitzrow's quarterbacks, he's going to lose. And so we have a lot of people that play the game. They play it, some of them more traditionally, and then we have others that they don't care about like the football mechanics. They just want to, take out the other team and just cause chaos. And so this is what makes the game so unique and fresh. Because besides football's a pretty deep game, even if you're doing an arcade style game like an NFL Blitz, right? Because you've got the down and distance and a lot of things to think about. But once you take all those football mechanics, and on top of that, you're putting in the preservation of your team while you're trying to go out and tactically take out players on the opposing team, now you've opened up a whole new layer of depth and strategy and tactics that you can use. And that's kind of what makes the game so interesting and so much fun. And it's also completely unpredictable. So you'll never play two games of Mutant Football League and have them turn out the same way. There are always going to be things that are different, and it's complete chaos and it's unpredictable. Guaranteed to make you laugh, though. That's for sure.
And tell them about the when you were talking about killing players, like you can kill the quarterback and whatever, but you have a chance to resurrect. Tell them about the resurrection halftime ref game.
Well, so every team has what we call dirty tricks. So dirty tricks are plays. Think of them kind of like timeouts. You get like 3 per half, and you use them or lose them. And they're kind of devastating, game-changing plays that you can do. They can be as subtle as bribing a ref, where I bribe the other team's ref, so when they score, the ref calls a ridiculous bullshit penalty like Rush. You know, you get a penalty because you think Rush is better than Led Zeppelin, and you get a 15-yard penalty. Yeah. So then you have to use another dirty trick to kill that ref. But then we have dirty tricks like murder ball, where you throw a pass and blades come out of the football and they'll take out any defenders between the quarterback and the receiver. We have a chainsaw, right? Or the quarterback can pull out a shotgun and shoot. We also have a resurrection that allows you to resurrect one of your dead players, which is helpful during a game.
How has this game, I mean, from now, or from when you guys first started developing the original one or the original reboot to now, what has been the biggest difference you've seen in just what you guys have been able to accomplish throughout this time?
Well, so for sure is the production values in terms of the graphic quality of the game. And one of the huge things that we were able to do. So in MFL 1, like every character in the game looked exactly the same. So if you had a skeleton guy, he looked exactly the same on the team and on all other teams. What we've done for Mutant Football League 2 is we have a personalization, which we now have hairstyles, beards. They can come out wearing bling. Usually the bling and the sunglasses and all of that stuff are reserved for like the superstar players. Yeah. Once you get your player, level him up to an all-star or a legend level, then their personality really starts to come out. Armor progressions. So you have this uniqueness of characters on your team, which adds a lot of attitude and personality to the game. And we didn't have that. The other thing is we kind of pumped up the level of mayhem and chaos. So the game plays faster. It's 8-on-8 now instead of 7-on-7, which that fourth receiver really opens up a lot. It creates a higher scoring game. And we also wanted to have a harder hitting, more brutal game where so we've added a bunch of new animations just to make the game more brutal and intense.
I have to jump in there. It's so funny because NFL Blitz, when we remade it in 2012, I remade it with EA Sports.
Yeah,
they took, the league was already taken out, late hits, and a lot of the violent stuff. So it kind of got watered down, and a lot of people didn't know about it. And then when Arcade 1-Up released NFL Blitz, they took out all the late hits, and they even took out 4 or 5 tackles that they deemed too violent. And you know what Michael did? His response: make them more violent, make them more salacious. I mean, it's just but it's cartoon fun. That's what's really cool about it. It's like big Looney Tunes, Adult Swim fun, what you'd expect.
So what made you, this is more for you, Tim, after seeing the MFL 1 come out and the response of the fans, and then Michael approaches you and says, hey, we're going to do a second one. Was it quick to say, yes, I want to come back for it? Or what went through that?
To me, it's like, I approach it like I've got my alter ego, Grim Blitzrow, in this one, which is great because the humor can go into different directions that I wouldn't normally go. And at the same time, still be able to do the sportscasting, which is great. As a man wide open downfield, and he's able to make that catch. So all that fun, but then the crazy humor. To me, this is like being in an Adult Swim show. like Rick and Morty or whatever, Futurama, and Michael cast me in it. And I was like, well, why aren't we doing one every season? Why don't we have 13 episodes? So to me, it was like more. I see it as like a real sport that's happening, and I just get to call the games, and the league changes every year. Like EA Sports does Madden every year. Like I would love to do it every year, do updates, add dialogue. But what Michael's able to do for each installment, we do so much speech. It's incredible. So much more than I ever did with midway games. So deep. Like if you're playing, Michael, try to explain, like if you're playing tournaments for 3 years, you're going to be referencing things that happened to your team.
Well, we have a mode called Dynasty. Yeah. It's funny because somebody from our community was complaining that it was only 5 seasons, and why didn't we make it 20 seasons? And I'm just like, 20 seasons.
The number of people who play a full 20 season Dynasty is so slim. Yeah. Like less than 5%, if that even is that high.
Not even. Yeah. So in our Dynasty, what I wanted to do, see, Tim's a character, right? I brought Tim into Mutant Football League for 2 reasons. Number one is I wanted to bring back that nostalgia into our game. And there was no better person to do that than Tim Kitzrow, who I consider the voice of Mutant Football League. Mm-hmm. And no matter what product we do, he will always be the voice of Mutant Football League. So then I wanted just to have somebody on a creative level that could make this Mutant Football League world universe as absurd and crazy and manic as possible, but still bring in the legitimacy of a play-by-play sports broadcaster, and to offset the violence. Even in the original Sega Genesis game, it was always important that the humor offset the violence.
Yep.
And the humor always had to play like that Simpsons level of humor, where it applied on 2 levels. Yeah. Like if you were a little kid, you'd laugh, but you wouldn't understand like the high level jokes for the adults. So adults playing with their kids or just playing by themselves, there's always 2 levels of humor in Mutant Football League. And we really take a lot of time and effort and a lot of comedic writers to write this. Tim's, obviously one of the head writers on the game. I do a lot of writing, but the humor is critically important. Bringing Tim in was key to all of that. And what he's talking about, like in our Dynasty, I want the player to feel like the announcers are aware of their history of what they're doing in the game. So if they got knocked out of the wild card playoffs in their first season, at the start of the second season, the announcers acknowledge that. And then if you're in season 4 and you've already won 2 Mayhem Bowls, and this is like your 3rd Mayhem Bowl to get a Dynasty, when you step out on the field, the announcers mention that. So that kind of level of writing, that depth, I figured out kind of like a system on how to do it. But when you play it, I mean, especially if you're stoned, right? And then like Kitzrow's just talking to you going, oh, don't screw up, don't screw up the wild card game like you did last time, or you had an undefeated season. And
I mean, it's not something like AI would have trouble like keeping track and figured. I don't know how Michael did it and how Brian, like for the sound, like how you have it figured out. Like, 3 years ago, they came in here as a wild card team and won the Mayhem Bowl. Then 2 years ago, they bottomed out, but they're back again. I mean, what? Who does that?
Yeah, and we got a small team. Like our core development team is like 6 guys, and we work with a lot of contractors. But I mean, we're really small and we're self-funded. So part of the reason why we're self-funded is so we can kind of do what we want to do without,
or anything like that.
But we'll still get fired or sued somehow, probably.
So, I mean, and when we started, Tim and I were like a garage band working at in a studio there where the clothes are hanging next to the washing machine, and we're doing
a rock band, and his buddy had the studio where they recorded. So we're going down there, and there's the washing machine, laundry hanging up. There's the drums, and there's this and that. And Michael's camped out on, an old vacuum cleaner or something.
But you mentioned it being a small team and a core team of 6. Obviously, yeah, contractors and stuff, but they're only there a limited time as funds come in. When you are self-funded like this, and in a market where, yes, it's easier to get into game development and release a game, but it's never been harder to make a game and get your game seen. How do you navigate that?
Well, you got to throw in the war in Ukraine too, because we have our development team, a number of guys are in Ukraine, right? So after the pandemic and the world opened up, the Chinese had the Olympics, and then 2 weeks later, our Ukraine was invaded by Russia. So we have guys trying to get the game done, working on generators, powers out, air raids, warnings, bombs exploding. So all of that on top of everything, and product development's hard enough. Now throw on a war on top of that, where the enemy is just trying to target all of the power sources, so you don't have any power and there's no heat in the winter, and we got it done. My hearts go out to those guys. We have guys that are in Ukraine, man, and they got the product out. It's incredibly hard, and money's always an issue. I'm like very experienced in the industry, and we used to do games at 3DO company. Like, we got battle tanks out in like 8 months, start to finish. So like, I know how to make a game and have it look good. I mean, like, it's a quality product for less than like a lot of the major publishers. Yeah. And it's just, you have to be very careful in your development, and you can't go crazy on like your feature sets and your ambitions on everything you want to do. You have to be very focused, have a very clear, strong feature set, and then don't stray from that. And in terms of development, what we always try to do is find the fun first.
Yeah.
I've been at alpha too many times and have the game look kick-ass, but it sucks. Because you're trying to get like marketing materials for a major publisher, and all their marketing team, they care about how it looks, not necessarily how it plays.
Yeah.
And I've always been, I don't care how it looks at the beginning, but it's got to play. Because I've been at alpha before and not have a game that is fun.
That's functional. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if it's not fun, I can't remember who said it. I think it was the old Nintendo president of America, Reggie Fils-Aimé. If it's not fun, why bother?
Right.
Yeah.
And it could look like $1 million, but if I'm
and we always, that's the thing with MFL. Throughout every aspect of the game, from the VO to like the play mechanics to like just the craziness that happens on the field, it's always about the fun. And I'm just like, I always find the fun first in everything we do. Is it going to be fun, and is it going to be entertaining? And that's kind of like my tunnel vision for the product, fun and entertaining. So 20 seasons overall for like the majority of our players, and 80%. That's not fun. That's torture.
Yeah, especially when it's a game, in my mind. It's not, like you've mentioned, it's not a simulation game where people, I want to simulate a couple seasons and get to new draft class. That's not what you're going for with this.
No, we're going for laughs and fun. Like, just, if we can take you away for like 25 minutes, about the amount of time it takes to play a match, or just have you and your buddy playing, a game, a multiplayer game where you're screaming at each other and stashing and laughing and just having a great time. And that's what we wanted to deliver. And I think we've done that.
On the writing and the voiceover, this is a game, obviously, there's a lot of satire. There's a lot of snark. There's a lot of comedy. How much of what is said is fully scripted out versus improv, what's in the booth?
Okay, so I'm going to have Tim give the majority of this.
Yeah.
I'll just start it and then let him go, because this is what happens in the studio anyways. So here I am. I'll have a script that we start with. Okay, so, and that script is not just written with me. Here you go, Tim. I mean, we are both coordinating leading up to the VO session, and Tim is writing a lion's share of what we're going to say, and I'm writing, and then Tim's going into my writing, and then I have it all printed out beautifully, and I send it to the recording engineers, and we all get there. I come in with my little cooler and all Tim's water and his lunch and his fruit and everything, and then I give him the script, and go ahead, Tim.
Well, I mean, I live in the world of Michael created this universe. When I looked at it, when I saw it, it's like that was the sandbox. If it's like going to your rich friend's house at Christmas time and seeing all the Christmas presents, I can have so much fun with this. You know, what am I going to do with this? So my mind just goes crazy when I start writing. I don't think of it as a video game anymore. We're up in the booth. My announcer and the two other guys that I've created, they're talking to one another about the city, what they're going to do, whatever else. And then I send it back to Michael. And he goes, remember, it's got to be this. It's not because I'm in a full-on TV show or movie. I'm a real broadcaster. This is what's going to happen. We're going to talk for 5 minutes. He goes, no, this has to happen between the kickoff or this and that. And he has to keep reminding me, because I'm literally just having so much fun of letting these characters come to life. It's not an effort to write this stuff. It's an effort to edit, to keep the exchanges something that he can get in the game. So it's kind of the same thing in the studio. Of course, as a professional, I try to do my best, especially because, money's an issue, and getting into the studio, you've got, 4-hour slots. I know that we have to get X done. You look at how many pages. But if you aren't having fun and you don't have that moment, like as a musician, if you're just, a session musician just reading the charts, you're never going to get that spontaneous, that stuff that makes it breathe and live. So it's just a natural thing. My whole background, improv, everything else, you get a line, it just takes off, and you just go off the rails.
Well,
and you never know.
The best shit is always like we get it improv. Like it's not written down. It's just off the cuff. He's like Robin Williams in there, man. His genius just goes off. And like, I don't find potentially half the shit he's saying that's off script, I can't necessarily use. But that other half, that's golden. And I use it, and I find places to put it in, and it gives everybody headaches because, all the poor audio guys, they just have the script to go from, and he's riffing left and right, and I can't keep up with it. There's no way. I got to hear it. I got to direct, and I can't write all these new lines as they're just coming out of his mouth.
You got to get a stenographer at that point.
So
I put a cap on this of like going back to like the big picture, why this product is so special and why you couldn't do it anywhere else. The importance of independent studios and supporting them, indie games. People say, how do you compete? That was one of your questions. How do you compete with billion-dollar companies, $1 million, like with the sim franchises, Madden? Well, money does not buy you creativity.
Right.
Creativity is something so unique that they can't take the risk. Just the same way movie companies are always looking to redo a Marvel, redo a movie that was success, taking that big risk on a completely new IP that's weird. Like pinball games back in the day used to just be random things, fishtails. They weren't about getting licenses from movies or rock bands or whatever. So Michael's thing, yes, it's football, but it's action, it's fun, it's entertainment. It's something that, for instance, EA Sports didn't know what to do with it when they had it, because they go, no, we're a sim company now. We're known for that. So we don't want to be associated maybe with this fun stuff, and it cannibalizes our own thing. But what they're missing is we are filling a place in the game world that, bringing it back to, games are fun. Games are interactive. It's not about just collecting stats, as you said, doing sim seasons. That this is the kind of title that, like Matt Groening, when he was doing Life in Hell and all of his books that, like, The Simpsons and things came out of, and Futurama, that was not an important or big IP then. He was an underground artist, right? But now he's the IP that everybody wants to license for a movie or a penguin, whatever. So I see this as a thing that other big companies are going to want to come to Michael and go, we want this IP because we don't have anyone in the house that can think like this. This doesn't exist. We don't hire guys at our huge company to go do something completely off the wall, unique, and it has nothing to do with anything that's ever been done before. So now I think he has created the cult audience, the people that follow Mutant Football League know that it is special. They revere it, like, as I said, a Simpsons or a Futurama, just to give you some ideas of IPs that started from just a creative mind. First and foremost, Michael is a creative artist and an artist. And so you don't get that in corporate gaming. You know, this is a unique thing.
Is it weird though? And Mike, this is probably more for you. Tim brought up the good point of like companies, people just in general want to see brands they recognize, the IP they recognize. There's a reason why the remakes and things keep happening. It's because executives know it's going to sell because people are going to feel nostalgic about it. That's a big thing. Nostalgic, I think, is the hardest drug in entertainment. And is that a worry that, you know, because you're still building what you envision the Mutant franchise to be, that people are going to look at it and turn away because it's not something they recognize?
I mean, sure. I mean, there's that, but they could also look at it and go, oh, wow, there's nothing like that on the market. Of course. Right. And that's kind of where we shoot for. Hey, I mean, look, this brand has never been this super, you know, successful money maker Fortnite thing. That's just what it's just never been that. It is a hell of a ride. When people play it, they like it. It's just getting them to play it has been kind of the struggle for us. We have a very passionate following in our community. The products like MFL 1, I mean, for an indie studio, that product was very successful for us. And I hope Mutant Football League 2 does. But nobody has any delusions that, like, we're building a Madden here. I mean, that's not what the product is. It's a B title that you could get for under $30 that will never play the same. It'll make you laugh, and you'll have the best frickin' time with your friends for a half hour playing. And that's our product.
You know how it would really take off in this world is if someone started to use images and little sequences of highlights in like their YouTube shows or on TV, like a Pat McAfee or something. If some big hit happened over the weekend and then they grab, this would be like the meme or the GIF, right?
Yeah.
That they grab like someone going through a buzzsaw, like, oh, Philip Rivers just went through the buzzsaw, and then cut to a Mutant Football League, the guy, quarterback going through a buzzsaw, or, you know, pulled out a shotgun formation, ends up backfiring, blows his own head off. You know, and the combination of my vocal calls with the visuals of that in like 5, 10, 15-second things to play off of what's going on in the NFL, that would just elevate it to this next level.
Oh, what a sack there. I heard this guy likes to play with soft balls. He's going to play with crushed balls from here on out.
You talk about being creative, and like there's no replacement for being a creative mind, especially when you're trying to build something like this. Obviously, with technology being what it is and the way big companies are going, everybody is looking at, well, how can we utilize AI? And a lot of people, I mean, there was the big SAG-AFTRA game voiceover strike because of the lack of AI protections. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the risk, I guess, of your voice being copied and utilized in that type of format down the line, and protecting your personal IP of your voice being what it is and it potentially being taken away from you?
Well, I've taken care of that problem. I've found Michael's team has actually created a time machine, and I went back very recently, so it's not quite caught up yet, the butterfly effect, but I killed the inventor of AI, so it's not going to be an issue. Probably while you're seeing this right now, just wherever you are, it's probably already happened. They're like, what is AI? So
Michael, here's a perfect example of this. There's certain things we can't do in MFL2. So let's take the create your team where the users get to name it. So how we do it is we have all these words that the user can put together to form the team name. Yeah. And the reason why we have to do the words is because if we just let them type whatever they want, they're going to do some, not all. Like 90% of the people are fine. But it's that 1% that just want to hurt somebody through saying something racist or whatever. Yeah. So unfortunately, it's like the hot coffee thing where one idiot spills hot coffee over their groin and now we all have to drink kind of lukewarm coffee so they don't get sued. It's kind of the same thing. But so we can't go into a studio and have Tim record 10,000 names and then put them all together so they all make sense. However, we could have AI do that where it would work, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. So AI is going to permeate everything we do. And I'm not saying we don't use AI because we do, and everybody's going to be using it.
Yeah.
However, the wrong way to do it would just be, here's all this VO we have of Tim, feed it into the AI, go, here's all these words, put them together, figure out an algorithm, how that gets timed out, and go do it. That's the wrong way. The right way is to go, hey, Tim, we can't possibly take you into a studio to do all of this. So we want to use your voice. We want to have AI do it. So let's work out a deal where we can do that. And all the other VO, that's still you, man. We're not going with AI for that. But for this, you are. And then you get to hear it. And if you got a problem with how we're using it, how it sounds, we'll adjust it to your satisfaction. And if we can't, we won't use it. So by doing that, then we could get everything we wanted. We appease the artist with respect, and we don't steal from the artist. And then the artist is involved in the creativity of how we're using that. And so that would be the right way. I see that happening for us.
And that you probably heard the story about Scarlett Johansson, that they wanted her AI voice from that movie. She said no, then they did it anyway. She sued him.
That's what came to my mind actually when I was bringing it up.
It's very concerning, and it's very concerning how the union has not really had our back and taking care of things, like a lot of things, like taking care of getting proper money for streaming shows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I would be all in favor, like as Michael just said, when people use it creatively, like I would like to have my voice on navigational systems as an option to get the Tim Kitzrow voice. Well, that would be an AI tool, sample that, because I'm not going to sit there and do 50,000 things that your driving companion tells you, like, get that stuff out of here. Take a left at Wendy's, no good. Man, you can't buy a red light or a green light. Watch out, cop up ahead. Oh, man, you are going down like a bag of hammers. Whatever. That would be fun and a creative way to do things that I couldn't do. As long as I get compensated for projects that I would sign on to, I would like to hear my voice doing this, which I couldn't physically do that variation, but
But again, as the voice of the MFL, it would, that is one way that it would make sense to use AI, but you on the creative end of things would, have approval over your voice. And that's kind of how I think it's got to work, and if you do that, I think because right now, the gaming community is very, and the art, very, very, very against AI, right? However, use it as a tool, be fair to the talent,
That's the big thing. Yeah.
And
it shouldn't be a replacement. It's a
just give me a great idea. When we have so much money, we don't know what to do with it. I've always said to Michael, I want to basically do a YouTube show that's taking clips of my best dialogue, our best dialogue that all of us have written, to make it in almost like that Saturday morning cartoon, little small, 15, 20, 30-second things, which is very popular now for attention span, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. So that stands on its own. And one of the first scenes I would do is my background here that Michael came up with this wonderful, like Grateful Dead head, the Grim Blitzer skeleton. So I would have him there and well, we've got a special guest on today. Oh, who is it, Grim? What's this AI idiot? Let's see. So all of a sudden AI Grim comes in and they're like, they're checking each other out. But AI Grim is doing things a little different. He thinks he's Grim Blitzrow. You suck. Like comparing each other and then. That would be something you would see on Futurama, like Bender, right?
Yeah.
Probably even like two Benders, which is the real one.
Yeah, I think they've done that.
And then we could even have one, Michael, like one of the cities we go to, and Grim couldn't make it today, so we have Grim Blitzrow's AI substitute sitting in. Oh my God, that's a good one. Thanks for the idea, Mike.
What you got to do is do that by the time the big game arrives. I don't want to get demonetized by using a certain phrase. When hopefully my bills are finally in it again. God.
Oh, Tim, I wanted to mention. I'm sorry about Green Bay and everything.
Green Bay Attackers. Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah. Watching that, it upset me. Green Bay has always been like my NFC team solely because small market I come from. The idea of just I love when small, non-major city teams have success.
Me too.
I always will. I will never. The only major team I've ever had any interest in is the New York Yankees, and that's because of my father. Yeah. He raised me terrible. But I'm a Cincinnati Reds guy. I'm a Bills guy. Like, it's just how I am.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So I got two Packer fans.
Somewhat, kind of 50-50.
The Green Bay Attackers take on the San Francisco Scary Niners.
How this actually, as we start to wind this down, when it comes to what's in the game, what you were able to put in the game versus what is left out, how much of that original for the MFL2 we need to have this, how much of that original list actually made the game versus we kind of had to cut?
Oh gosh. There's a lot. I mean, there's more that I want to do with the game than we've actually got into the game. Look, I want to have 3D models as the announcing team that you could cut to and see them animate and talk and lip syncing, right? I want to do that. More character species in the game. We had to focus on like the personality and the having everybody look different, and that didn't allow us to do as many characters as we wanted. When I say characters, I mean like we have orcs, robots, humans, but I wasn't able to put like the werewolves in or the aliens in, right? Because we just didn't have the resources, the money. It was like decide to do this or do this, and we decided it would be more beneficial. And we could, as you upgrade your guys, they change and their armor gets different and their visual appearance, like they get cooler and more badass and have glasses and earrings and tattoos on their faces. And that's what we opted. So it's a building block. But how we do our development, like it's an engine. And if we do another game, we take that engine and we build on top of that engine and we do more. We can add more characters now because we have the tattoos, we have the bling, right? I mean, so we build on top of our engine because it provides us with a more streamlined pipeline for doing the next game. Yeah. So we're continuously building on it. There's so much stuff in my head to get it out and work with a team and to actually get it out to quality. I'd say about a quarter of what we wanted to do, we could do.
So what you're saying is to get more into the game, because obviously with MFL 1, there were plenty of updates throughout, from the time it launched to when you guys
Now we're not
move
going to
on?
do any, like, we have this similar approach where, like, the game's never done.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been, okay, I'm done. Is, you know, I mean, back in the day, we'd ship a game and that was it. But it's not like that anymore. So we improve it, and we listen to our community, and they go, well, we don't like this, or it's not difficult enough on this level. Like, we work on it and try and deliver that.
Yeah, if we had more money, as I said, for me, it's adding the entertainment, which is very popular again today because of all the short reels, comic reels that like get hooked on it, and that would be the best hook to bring people in that, you know, they're not looking to play a game or a football game or they just get hooked on it because the characters and the comedy. And Michael used to have this used to be a Saturday morning cartoon show, short-lived. So what would be fun is I've already done this with Major League Baseball, MLB Slugfest with Midway. While the game loaded for 60 seconds, me and Kevin Matthews, Jim Shorts, had random moments up in the booth pre-game, right? Had nothing to do with the game. So we do have the AI potential animation. We could have the characters in the booth, short things of them just, you know, hanging out before the game and stuff like, well, we're in a beautiful San Francisco, scary Niners town. A lot of great sights, a lot of great views in this town. Fellas, after the game, any sights you want to take in? Yeah, the Mermaid Titty Bar down on 4th Street. Best view in the city, front row, best bang for the buck. I want to go see the Fisherman's Dwarf. It's Wharf. Oh, Wharf the Dwarf. It rhymes. That kind of stuff. So then I can do these outtakes of who are these people, what city are they in, and like, and these teams share a lot of bad blood together. Yeah, mostly from the Raby bloodmobile parked out next to the sausage truck. Oh, that's good stuff. You know, that's the world. That's what I want to do.
In a perfect world.
We have to have a telethon. Through your donations, Tim can live out his dream. Please make his Wish Foundation come true.
I was going to ask, in a perfect world.
Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, fucking idiot.
In a perfect world, where do you see the Mutant franchise going from here with MFL 2 out and what you want to do in the future?
Straight to the bank. I owe this guy so much money. That's where I'm taking it. Straight to the bank. Man, I want to see it explode. Seriously, like people ask me my whole life, did you know NBA Jam or Blitz would be as big as they are? If I could go back in time, you know, invest in it, this is the one game that I feel that it could and should be as big as any franchise and have that kind of like zeitgeist pop culture moment. And I swear, if just by plugging it into the way people view entertainment now, if it got into the short reels, if it got into the Pat McAfee show and ESPN show, other things, just grabbing a couple highlights, it would explode. It's like, where's the beef? A woman said in a commercial all these years ago, where's the beef for Wendy's? We still remember it. A couple lines placed strategically, that's the kind of marketing budgets that big corporations have. And Volkswagen had it. They had the ability to grab everybody's attention with a simple picture and a great slogan, right? That's what great advertising and marketing is. We just need to distill that to get out of just the, you know, buy it on Steam, buy it on Xbox, blah, 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 into one place where it is mass consumed, a couple of images, a couple of great lines, and then it's there. So hopefully that's what we're going to do on this tour.
What about you, Mike?
So I look at it like I'd like to continue the brand in beyond just video games. Obviously, I would love to have a show again, because that's so huge to helping everything else. But you know, multiple sports properties with these mutant characters that the user could build their mutant character and take that character and play different sports games with, I think is kind of where I'd like to see this thing go.
Well, Michael and Tim, I want to thank you so much for taking the time here. This has been an interview that I've been working on trying to schedule for a while, and I'm super happy we were finally able to get it. Mutant Football League 2 is available now on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Are there any plans, actually, to bring it to Switch 2?
Yes, we're working on it. The process for getting Switch 2 dev kits is not the same as it was a few years back.
You're about the fifth interview I've done since the Switch 2 was announced where that's the same thing I've been told. I mean, there were major AAA studios that I think are still waiting.
Yep. So yes, we'd love to have it on the Switch, Switch 2, but we're, it's not something we can control. So fingers crossed on that. We'll see what happens.
You see this cup here? This is my friend George Lowe, God rest his soul. He passed away last year. Met him at a lot of shows. Space Ghost, the original Space Ghost.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing I'm saying that this franchise had that following, and he had that talk show, and Grim Blitzrow and his characters could have other people in. They could have mutants on their talk show, like an ESPN if it was all animated, or we could have live people appear with them the way he did. That's the fun of the world is so rich. And you know what? It's a great game. So I look at it that way. Michael, there's so many angles to it. That's why it works. I see it as an entertainment tool because I don't even play video games. I don't see it as a video game or a sports game. It's a great entertainment tool. And it's the most fun I've ever had working on a game. So I hope people tell their friends and, spread the word and let's all bring home a chainsaw and a shotgun for Christmas with our Mutant Football League.